You know, with time, I have become kind of a fan of whiskeys from the Highwood Distillery in Calgary, Alberta. And one of my favorites is this one here, the 5-year-old 90. It's not expensive. It's 45% alcohol by volume. It's pure corn whiskey, but it's aged in ex-bourbon barrels, so it might have a little bit of a rye flavor to it at times. But that's not what I'm going to review today. Today, I'm going to review this one that came as a freebie, like an albatross around the neck of the 90. It's a miniature. If I can get it out of this little, these little, there. I got it out of this little thing, which is probably dangerous for little animals. This is what I'm going to try today. This is the White Owl Whisky. I think I've had it before in an identical package to this, hanging around the neck of a bottle of 5-year-old 90, which, as I said, is one of my favorites. And like I was saying, I became a fan of whiskeys from the Highwood Distillery. There's the 21, Century 21, and the other 21-year-old Canadian Rockies, which is just fabulous. It's a beautiful balance of rye and corn. And even the Centennial, which is the sort of like an entry-level version, it's called the Centennial, and it's a wheated whiskey. And I thought it was too weedy when I first opened the bottle, but as it's been oxidizing a little bit, it's become very nice. I'm quite enjoying the Centennial, even though it's inexpensive, even cheaper than a 90, but it's, for 40% alcohol by volume wheat whiskey, it's not bad. If all you have is $22 or $23 to spend plus tax. But without any further ado, I'm going to try this White Owl, which is their idea of it's a clear whiskey. I don't know why they make it. It has to be clear like that, but for some, what's it say on here? It says, "Less is more. White Owl, the original white whiskey, has no color, but all the flavor and body you demand in a premium whiskey. Clearly a whiskey like no other. Century Distillers, Calgary, Alberta. That's Highwood." And it even says on here, on the side, sample. Not to be resold from what I understand. Well, I'm going to sample it. I have a fresh Glencairn right here. This is exactly 50 milliliters, the perfect size dram for my tastes. And let's lay this down a little bit. Lay this down to get the last few drops. It's an old trick I saw from Ralphie, where he would, in order to get the most out of his bottle of whiskey, he would turn it sideways. And it's just a little bit too bright. There, this white shirt does sort of stand out, and it's kind of like a flag for I surrender, or I'm just being silly right now. I haven't had anything to drink yet. You see, that's the problem. Get some nice cold water and get a couple more drops out of this. If you can see that. See, it's dripping right out. That's a good trick Ralphie taught me. Okay. And there's another little miniature that can go in a little row of miniatures up ahead there. Yeah. Well, it has the same aroma of as a corn whiskey. It smells a lot like 90. Could be weeded too. Smells like it's got some rye, some corn, some wheat. Definitely a lot of corn. Maybe some rye. I don't know. Maybe it was aged in an ex-bourbon barrel, just like the 90. I don't know how they made it look like vodka, but it does. Yeah, it smells like a Canadian whiskey. %40 alcohol by volume. Doesn't say how old it is. Doesn't say anything else about it except it's clear. I guess I don't know what the point is, but it was free, so I guess it's maybe a backlash against people who consider that the darker the whiskey is, the better it is. Let's make it clear, so it's like a, I don't know, a reverse snobbery or something. I couldn't tell you, I don't know. Yeah. Definitely a corn whiskey with some wheat and maybe some rye. Not very complex, it's straightforward. Let's give it a taste. It's actually quite good. Definitely a lot of corn. A lot of corn on the tongue. Let's try that again. Here's that same straightforward nose. Yeah. A lot of corn. It's like a watered down version of this, and it's clear. Yeah, there's the 90. It's like a watered down version of 90 with maybe, there's a little something else. Maybe it's wheat. Maybe there is wheat in the mash bill. There's definitely a lot of corn, but I think there's some wheat in there too. It has like an earthy, grassy aftertaste. Like what corn husks would smell like, believe it or not. Earthy, grassy aftertaste, yeah. It's definitely different. Just because it's clear. It's satisfying. I don't know if I'd go and buy a whole bottle of it when I can get a bottle of 90. But it's all right. So on that note, cheers and to your good health.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Yeah.